Have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand in front of the people who once laughed at you, knowing that your next signature could change their entire future? Most people dream about revenge, but this story isn't about revenge. It's about patience. It's about sacrifice. And it's about a poor boy who spent years being treated like he would never become anything. No one believed in him. No one except his mother. His name was Ethan Carter. He grew up in the small industrial town of Brooksville, where almost every family depended on one company, Harrison Manufacturing. The company employed nearly 4,000 workers and had been the pride of the town for decades. Its owner, Richard Harrison, was one of the richest businessmen in the state. People respected him. Some even feared him. For Ethan's family, however, Harrison Manufacturing wasn't a symbol of success. It was a reminder of everything they had lost. Ethan's father, Daniel Carter, had worked there for 26 years. He was known as one of the most reliable maintenance supervisors in the factory. He rarely missed a shift. He trained new employees. He often stayed late to fix machines before the next day's production. Everyone knew him. Then one rainy Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. A massive machine malfunctioned. Daniel rushed toward it after hearing another worker scream. He managed to push the younger employee out of the way just before the machine collapsed. The young worker survived without a scratch. Daniel wasn't as lucky. The accident crushed his leg and severely damaged his back. Doctors spent hours in surgery trying to save him. Although they succeeded, he would never return to factory work again. The company covered part of his medical expenses and offered a modest settlement. Then life moved on for the company, not for Ethan's family. Within months, medical bills consumed their savings. The mortgage became impossible to pay. Their second car was sold. Vacations disappeared. Birthdays became simple family dinners. Christmas gifts became necessities instead of toys. Ethan never complained. He noticed something that broke his heart far more than poverty. His mother quietly skipped meals whenever food was running low. Whenever Ethan asked why she wasn't eating, she smiled. "I already ate while cooking." She hadn't. One night, Ethan woke up thirsty. As he walked toward the kitchen, he heard his parents talking. His mother was crying softly. "I don't know how we're going to pay next month's bills." Daniel lowered his head. "I'm sorry. You have nothing to apologize for. I couldn't protect this family." Ethan quietly returned to his room. That night, he made himself a promise. "One day, I'll become successful enough that my parents never have to worry about money again." The next morning, nothing looked different, but everything inside Ethan had changed. At school, life wasn't much easier. His clothes became older each year. His shoes were repaired so many times that glue was visible around the edges. His backpack had been stitched together with fishing line because they couldn't afford a new one. Some students noticed. Others laughed. The loudest among them was Jason Harrison, Richard Harrison's only son. Jason had grown up believing the world already belonged to him. Luxury cars, private schools, expensive watches, designer clothes. Everything came easily. Everything except humility. The first time Jason mocked Ethan happened during freshman year. Ethan accidentally dropped his notebook while walking into class. Papers scattered across the floor. Instead of helping, Jason kicked several pages farther away. "Careful," he laughed loudly. "If those papers tear, it'll take your family 6 months to buy new ones." The classroom exploded with laughter. Ethan quietly picked up every page. He didn't say a word. That became his habit. Whenever someone insulted him, he remained silent. Whenever someone underestimated him, he remembered it, not to seek revenge, but to remind himself why quitting was never an option. The bullying became worse over time. Students called him Charity Boy. Some called him Factory Kid. Others joked that his father had become too broken to work. Every insult felt like another weight on his shoulders. Still, he never responded. His refuge became the town library. Every afternoon after school, he sat in the same corner near the business section. The librarian, Mrs. Collins, noticed him immediately. "You've checked out more business books than anyone I've ever seen your age," she said one afternoon. Ethan smiled. "I want to understand how successful companies are built." Mrs. Collins looked at him thoughtfully. "And why is that?" Because one day, I want to build one. Instead of laughing, she nodded. I believe you will. Those 4 words changed his life. Sometimes, one person believing in you is enough. Mrs. Collins introduced Ethan to books about leadership, finance, economics, negotiation, and entrepreneurship. He read biographies of Henry Ford, Steve Jobs, Soichiro Honda, Warren Buffett, and dozens of other entrepreneurs. He noticed something surprising. Almost every successful person had failed. Many had been poor. Many had been rejected. Many had been laughed at. Failure wasn't the end. Giving up was. By 16, Ethan had started working after school. He washed dishes, delivered newspapers, cleaned offices, loaded delivery trucks. On weekends, he mowed lawns and repaired old computers for neighbors. Every dollar went home. His mother often cried when he handed her his paycheck. You should keep this. Ethan smiled. We're a team. One rainy evening, while carrying garbage bags behind a restaurant where he worked, a black luxury SUV pulled into the parking lot. The window rolled down. Jason Harrison, along with 3 classmates. Jason grabbed his phone. Guys, look. Our future millionaire is taking out the trash. Everyone laughed. One of them recorded a video. Jason shouted loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. Smile, Ethan. This is probably the closest you'll ever get to managing a business. The group drove away laughing. By the next morning, the video had spread across school. Students gave Ethan a new nickname, Trash Boy. Every hallway echoed with laughter. Teachers tried stopping it. Nothing changed. For months, that nickname followed him everywhere. Most people would have broken. Ethan became stronger. Every insult pushed him to study harder. Every laugh became another reason to keep going. By graduation, Jason Harrison was voted most likely to become CEO. His father proudly stood on stage and announced that one day Jason would inherit Harrison Manufacturing. The audience applauded. When Ethan's name was called moments later, only his parents stood. As Ethan accepted his diploma, Jason leaned toward a friend and whispered, "Enjoy this moment. It's the nicest stage you'll ever stand on." The 2 of them laughed. Ethan heard every word. He simply smiled because, while everyone else was celebrating graduation, he was already planning something much bigger, something that would one day bring him back to Harrison Manufacturing, not as an employee, not as a visitor, but as the man who could decide whether the company survived at all. Graduation marked the end of one chapter, but for Ethan Carter, the real battle was only beginning. While Jason Harrison left for one of the country's most prestigious business schools, Ethan couldn't even afford community college. His family simply didn't have the money. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, Ethan made a decision that would shape the rest of his life. If I can't afford university, he whispered to himself, I'll build my own. Every morning, he woke up at 5 o'clock. Before work, he spent 2 hours studying free online courses on business, economics, accounting, and computer programming. After finishing his shifts at the diner, he stayed up until midnight reading books borrowed from the public library. His routine never changed. Study, work, learn, repeat, week after week, month after month, year after year. His friends thought he was obsessed. Some even laughed. Life isn't all about work, Ethan. He smiled politely. It isn't. But the life I want requires work. 3 years later, Ethan had taught himself software development. He wasn't just writing code. He was solving real business problems. One afternoon, the owner of a small logistics company called a repair shop, where Ethan worked. Their inventory system had crashed, and shipments were delayed. The owner was furious. If the system wasn't fixed within 48 hours, he would lose one of his biggest clients. Ethan volunteered to help. When he examined the software, he realized the problem wasn't the computers. The entire system had been designed poorly. Instead of repairing it, he rebuilt it. For 3 straight nights, Ethan barely slept. Coffee replaced meals. The office couch became his bed. When he finally finished, the difference was unbelievable. Orders that once took 15 minutes to process now took less than 30 seconds. Inventory mistakes almost disappeared. Employee productivity nearly doubled. The company saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in just a few months. The owner couldn't believe it. "How much do I owe you?" he asked. Ethan hesitated. "I wasn't expecting anything." The owner smiled. "I don't pay people for their time. I pay them for the value they create." That sentence stayed with Ethan forever. Using the money he earned, he rented a tiny office above an old hardware store. The office had cracked walls, secondhand furniture, and unreliable internet. But Ethan didn't care. It was the first thing he had ever truly owned. He called his startup Carter Technologies. The first year was brutal. Some months he earned almost nothing. Potential investors laughed at him. "We don't invest in unknown founders. You don't have a college degree. Your company is too small." No, no, no. Every rejection sounded the same. But Ethan had been hearing no his entire life. It no longer frightened him. Instead of quitting, he improved his software after every rejection. Little by little, his products became faster, smarter, more reliable. His first major breakthrough came when a regional manufacturing company agreed to test his automation software. Within 6 months, the factory reduced production costs by 22%. Machine breakdowns dropped dramatically. Profits increased. Other companies noticed. Soon, one contract became 5. 5 became 20. 20 became hundreds. Within 8 years, Carter Technologies had become one of the fastest-growing industrial software companies in the country. His business expanded into robotics, artificial intelligence, supply chain management, and factory automation. Investors who once rejected him were now competing for the chance to invest. Business magazines called him the silent visionary. Television hosts invited him for interviews. Yet Ethan never forgot where he came from. Every Friday evening, he still visited his parents. His mother no longer worked 2 jobs. His father no longer worried about medical bills. Ethan had paid off their mortgage years earlier. The first thing he ever bought with his success wasn't a sports car. It was peace of mind for his family. Meanwhile, things were falling apart at Harrison Manufacturing. Richard Harrison had spent decades believing the company was too big to fail. He refused to modernize. He ignored warnings from engineers. He dismissed automation as a passing trend. "We've been successful for 50 years, he often said. "Why change now?" Because the world had already changed. Competitors adopted AI-powered production, smart factories, automated logistics, predictive maintenance. Harrison Manufacturing stayed stuck in the past. Profits collapsed. Customers left. Debt increased. Within 3 years, the company lost nearly half its market value. Emergency board meetings became routine. Investors demanded answers. Banks threatened to pull financing. Employees feared losing their jobs. Jason Harrison, now an executive in the company, urged his father to adapt, but it was too late. One Monday morning, an emergency board meeting was called. The atmosphere was tense. Financial reports covered the conference table. One director spoke quietly. "If we don't find a buyer, we'll be bankrupt within 6 months." Silence. Another director cleared his throat. "There is one company interested." Richard Harrison looked up. "Who?" The director slid a folder across the table. Richard opened it. His face froze. Jason leaned over to read the cover. His hands began shaking. The first page showed a familiar face. Ethan Carter, founder and CEO of Carter Technologies. Net worth, $4.8 billion. Jason couldn't believe what he was seeing. The poor boy, the dishwasher, the teenager he called Trash Boy. Now, he was worth more than their entire company. Richard slowly closed the folder. There must be another investor. There isn't. Another buyer? No, we're out of options. For the first time in his career, Richard Harrison realized that the future of his company depended on the very boy he had once ignored. A week later, a black sedan stopped outside Carter Technologies headquarters. Jason Harrison stepped out alone. He looked nervous. The receptionist escorted him to the executive floor. Moments later, he stood outside Ethan's office. He knocked softly. "Come in." Jason entered. Ethan stood beside the window, overlooking the city. For several seconds, neither man spoke. Finally, Jason broke the silence. I never thought we'd meet like this. Ethan smiled faintly. Neither did I. Jason looked around the office. Modern, elegant, simple, nothing flashy. Exactly like Ethan. He took a deep breath. I'm here because we need your help. Ethan remained quiet. Jason lowered his eyes. I owe you an apology. I treated you terribly. I laughed at you because your family was poor. I thought money made me better than you. His voice cracked. I was wrong. I regretted it for years. Ethan walked toward him. For a moment, Jason expected anger. Instead, Ethan extended his hand. Jason looked surprised. You don't owe me revenge, Ethan said calmly. You owe yourself growth. Jason slowly shook his hand. The following day, Ethan attended the Harrison Manufacturing Board meeting. Every executive expected a harsh negotiation. Instead, Ethan surprised them. I'll buy the company, he said. Relief spread through the room. But I have conditions. The lawyers prepared their pens. No mass layoffs. The room fell silent. Every employee keeps their job during the transition. Richard Harrison looked stunned. Ethan continued. Every factory will be modernized. Every worker will receive free training. Injured employees will receive lifetime support. Children of factory workers will qualify for educational scholarships. And he looked directly at Richard. I want every employee treated with dignity. From the CEO to the janitor, Richard slowly stood, his eyes filled with tears. I spent my entire life building factories. You spent yours building people. I finally understand the difference. The deal was signed that afternoon. News spread across the country. Headlines read, Poor boy who was bullied by his billion-dollar company. Reporters surrounded Ethan. One journalist asked, Weren't you tempted to get revenge? Ethan smiled. I already won. The reporter looked confused. What do you mean? I became the person they said I never could. Nothing is more satisfying than that. Months later, Harrison Manufacturing became profitable again. Employees kept their jobs. Safety standards improved. Scholarship programs helped hundreds of students from low-income families. The company became stronger than ever. One afternoon, Ethan returned to the old public library. Mrs. Collins was still there. She smiled the moment she saw him. I knew you'd come back. Ethan laughed. You believed in me before anyone else did. She pointed toward a group of teenagers studying in the same corner, where Ethan once sat. They remind me of someone. Ethan walked over and quietly placed a donation envelope on the librarian's desk. Inside was enough money to renovate the entire library and create a business learning center for young students. Mrs. Collins looked at him with tears in her eyes. You've changed so many lives. Ethan smiled. You changed mine first. As he walked outside, he looked across the town that had once laughed at him. Nothing about his success erased the pain of those years, but it gave that pain a purpose. Because in the end, the poor boy didn't become rich to prove people wrong. He became successful to prove that your circumstances do not define your future. The people who laughed at him thought they were watching the end of his story. They had actually witnessed the beginning. And years later, the boy they underestimated didn't just buy their company. He became the kind of leader they had never learned to be.